Hey there, Jose.
How you doing? Thank you for texting me back.
We'll give everyone a few minutes, Jose, and then we'll go ahead and get started here, probably about 10:05 or so.
Okay. You know, I stopped drinking coffee
Can't hear you,
about a.
Jose.
Can you hear me now?
See, it says you're unmuted, but I still can't hear you for some reason. Let me see. There we go. I was muted on my computer. That was my problem.
Okay. I was going to say that I stopped drinking coffee about a year and a half ago, and you make me want to drink every day.
Hey, don't let me be your your bad temptation. I'm just over here drinking what's near and close to me to give me that little wake up kick, you know what I'm saying? I stick to tea usually when I can, but I've been off of coffee for probably about 6 months or so, just strictly tea, maybe coffee once a week, but
Is that iced tea?
no, this right here is just black coffee.
No,
But
no,
usually
no.
I do like I like these orange, like citrus teas. Hey there,
Yeah.
Larissa. Good to see you. Um, so yeah, I usually like to do those teas, maybe with some caffeine, maybe not, but
That's because that's because you're a high roller.
something like that.
Yeah. I do the tea at home every once in a while. My wife
Yeah,
makes
yeah. It's a good switch up.
So did I see my girl Larissa on there? Good job, Larissa.
Yep, Larissa's right there and Madeline too. So we'll give it a few minutes here, 2 more minutes probably, and then we'll get officially started.
Hi, Clark. Hi, Jose. How are you?
Hello, we're doing great. How about yourself?
Very good, thank you.
Good. We're glad to have you on today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
So Larissa must have not liked my buyer's presentation that she shadowed me on. That's why she's here.
Oh no, she's just here to learn new tools just like you, Jose. That's all it is.
That's right.
Here to
Yeah,
expand our
yeah.
tool belt.
Yes, and I am enjoying all the classes from Clark. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much for
Learning
saying
a
that.
lot. Yeah.
Good. I appreciate that. I'm glad they're helpful. We got
She's
Debbie
my
joining on here. We'll get 1 more minute going.
Larissa is my Spanish translator.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
She says that all my Spanish that I speak is terrible.
Oh, I'm sure she
No,
didn't say it like
no.
that. That may be
No.
a little misinterpretation there, a little miscommunication, Jose.
Well,
I'm sure she
No,
didn't
he
say it
speaks
like that.
he speaks very well. Yeah.
I think her comments were need a little more improvement.
Oh, yeah. Don't we all in all the areas? Don't we all?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
She's sweet.
Thank you, Jose.
okay, y'all. Well, it is. I'll give it just a couple more seconds here till 10:05, and then we'll get started up because as soon as I click share screen or start doing anything, someone else will join per usual. So life goes. All right, 10:05 officially. We'll go ahead and get started, y'all. So today we're going to be going over the process of creating a complete buyer presentation in Designs from start to finish, okay? A lot of the information is written in that you do not have to edit, but I do recommend you read through every single page of all of this before you're sitting down with a client, because you do not want something written in there by KWRI that you did not read and know exactly what this certain paragraph or this was talking about. So don't just put in your name everywhere and then print it off and go try to get clients. Read through all of the paperwork and everything so that you understand what you're truly presenting to the client. But if you have zero experience creating any presentation like this, it's a great starter at the very least, and it's a really good template for y'all. So I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. As always, feel free to unmute, interrupt me if you have any questions, or put them in the chat as we're going along, and we'll just go from here. And thank y'all for joining us today. I do appreciate it. Okay, y'all. So per usual, as always, we're going to be up here in Command. Let me hide some of these boxes here on my end. Okay, perfect. So here on Command as usual, today we're going to be going into Designs down here. Looks like a blackboard with a pen on it, the fourth one from the bottom. And we are going to be selecting, we're going to go down here to the big tealish check mark, plus sign at the bottom right of the design screen. And what we're going to be creating here is a print design. Okay, so this would be for intentions of printing this off, making a high quality PDF for you to print and bind to sit down in front of a client. Now, the best part about this is it doesn't have to just be print. Because of COVID and all the things going on right now, you can make a killer buyer or listing presentation in Designs and just be able to present this and customize these to your clients, and they just be in, say, an email format or like a flipping book, something that I think Bill has mentioned about, kind of an interactive, workbook type of thing for presentations like this. Add marker in here real quick. So again, we're going to be creating a print template today. Sorry, y'all, we keep having new awesome people join us. I need to keep clicking around. Okay, perfect. So we're going to be starting with a print template here. For y'all that just joined, we are creating a buyer presentation in Designs today. So on command, go down to Designs. We're going to hit the big blue tealish plus marker, and we're going to be selecting a print template. Okay, y'all? Get Joseph in here real quick. So once we select that print template, we can hit next, and we're going to go into the We Brand little design editor. Kind of shows you all the templates that KWRI has put together for us. And over here on the left side of the page for the templates, we're going to be going into Buyer. Get Sarah in here real quick on her iPad. All right. So under the Buyer section, today we're going to be going over a buyer presentation, like I said. So we're going to select the Buyer dropdown and then Buyer presentation. You have two options. I'm just going to be doing the classic today. You can see the name down here on the bottom of it. This is the modern version. It's really just the layout and different text, logos, things like that. The modern is going to be a little bit different, but we'll just do the clean version for today, the classic one. Okay. And we're going to select Use. You can see on the top right here that there are 31 pages in this template. We are not going to use every one of these, but that tells you right off the bat there are going to be 31 possible pages we can add into our buyer presentation here. So I'm going to select the red Use button, and we can go ahead and get started. So a few things about Designs if you have not spent much time in here yet. Over here, we're in the template section right now, so we can scroll through and see all the different pages that we're going to be adding throughout the process. Okay. We've also got images, text, icons, which are fairly minimal right now, your logos that you've uploaded, and the KWLS as well, if you were looking for a listing or a snapshot of a zip code or neighborhood. So we're going to be starting off in the template section here. And the easiest way to add these pages, we're going to be adding them one at a time. Okay, so you'll get the hang of this as I'm going through it. So to add a page, you can just quite literally click on it. We'll say, please wait, and then it will pop that first picture right in here. Okay. So right off the bat, the first thing that you're going to notice is we've got first name, last name, DBA, and then this template, or this placeholder rather, for a team logo if you have one, or one for your personal self. So we're going to want to come in here and edit these things right here real quick. So I'm going to select the first name. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, right about 150. And then the easiest way for you to edit any text in the Designs, in any design that you're doing, you can click on the text that you want to edit. And then up here at the top of the screen, right next to the font size, there's a little, looks like a half-eaten Hershey bar, honestly, called a typewriter. And you can click on that and you can see it says right there, first name in all caps. I'm going to change that to Clark. Hit Save Changes. Do the same one for last name. Mundy. Save Changes. And let's say I'm not really happy with that spacing right there, because honestly, I'm not. That looks a little funky. I do not have a super long name, 5 letters in the first and last. So I'm going to use my arrow keys just to bring that over a little bit. For the DBA name right here, I'm going to click on that. And actually, what I'm going to do, let me see here, on images. So I just switched over to KWDFW Preferred, which is in Coppell, that Bill Webb is a co-owner of. And so I just switched over there. So my logos are still Southlake, and I'm still working on figuring out how to remove those as my saved logos. So I do know that I did add the new logos here into images though. So that's why I'm going into images. If you've already got your logos in here, then you can just go there. And I'm just going to use y'all's logo to make it easy. And a really cool feature here, when you're putting in any logos or pictures, anything like that, you can click where you want it to go and then hover. Oh, I say that and then it doesn't allow me to do it. Okay, well, I lied. Usually you can replace a logo like this. So I'm just going to delete that. We're going to resize this. So I want y'all to see exactly how it would look if you did this. So that's why I'm putting your office here. And then I'm going to put my team as well right here. Bam. Okay, it's a little bit short. So let me pull that over. A few words here and there missing off of the V. Okay, perfect. So there's my team logo, and there is your office logo. So I wanted y'all to see what that would look like. So now I can zoom back out to about 75% and we can see, bam, first page done. Your guide to home ownership, everything you need to know about buying a home. Got my name, got my info. That team logo is a little big, so I'm going to resize that just a tad. Move that over. So that is our page one, okay? Now we can go back up to templates on the top left here. And click on templates and you can see that's our page one. Now to add page two, we can just click on it and it'll add it right after page one. If at any point as we're going through this, like I said, there were 31 pages possible that you could include in this based on just the template, you can click at the very bottom of the page. Did y'all see where I did that? Very bottom, kind of in the middle, this little button called Pages. You can click that and it'll show you all the pages and we can keep adding from there. You can also rearrange if you put something in the wrong space just by dragging and holding and then dropping, okay? And that's also how we're going to do some things like deleting some of these pages as well that we don't need, which would be this one. If you see here at the very top in yellow, remove this page before use. This is an instructions page, y'all, so I highly recommend you read this before continuing on whenever you are making this yourself, okay? It gives you the buyer preference profile builder and some tips on that. And then tips right here on financing the home, neighborhoods, Keller Mortgage. And this right here, I want to make sure everyone sees this, okay? You have to do this. If you include anything about Keller Mortgage, any flyers, anything like that in any sort of presentation, you have to put the affiliated business arrangement disclosure, which is at the end of this template. It'll be the last page you see. We have to include that in this presentation if you choose to keep the Keller Mortgage paperwork in here. The reason for that is the public needs to know that we are in an affiliated business relationship with them, and we work hand in hand with Keller Mortgage, being under the Keller Cloud and the Keller Williams ecosystem. So it's more for the consumer's knowledge and disclosure than anything else, but you need to include that if you do anything, okay? And then I want y'all to read this as well. If you neglect to update and personalize the content included, your bio guide will not be very accurate. In sections where numbers are included, feel free to choose your best value story for your business, for your market center, KWRI, or all three. If you need assistance obtaining these numbers, please contact the MCA leadership, okay? So I just wanted y'all to see that, okay? So we're not gonna need this page. So once you, on your own, have created, you've gotten to this page, you've read through everything, you understand it, you know that you're gonna put in that disclosure if you include Keller Mortgage, and you know that you're going to personalize this to a T before you just print this and go into a presentation with a client. So what we can do now is, now that we know where pages are down here at the bottom, okay, so I click on Pages again. Once we've read this page and we decide, okay, we're good to go, I don't need to know anything else and I don't need this in my presentation, you can hover over each page that you've added to these presentations and you can click the little down arrow. When you do that, the action bar pops up and we're just going to hit the trash can, okay? You could also duplicate if you wanted to make a second of this. We're just going to trash this because we don't need it anymore, and we're going to delete that design. We're going to say yes. So now we're back to only having this page, and for some reason it has been bringing in, just for my experience in the past few days, it's been bringing in this blank page one before the actual guide. I'm not sure why, so I'm going to delete that as well. So if you do notice that, feel free to delete that as well on your end. So page one truly is page one. Well, now that we've read all that, we can skip over that and add what will be page two. Okay. So you can see here, we're going to need to add in the client name. There's a couple things here. We're going to have the client name if you've got a team logo or a logo other than your office logo. We're going to put in your DBA logo as well as your office address, and then your info as well. And I just want y'all to keep in mind on all of this as we're doing this. This is a template, meaning once you do it and save it, you don't have to do this every time you need to do it or need to create a buyer presentation, okay? You would just take that template that you've already created, change the client name, change all the pertinent data. It's not going to take you all the time in the world every single time. It's just going to be that first time getting used to everything. And like your info on here, you're not going to have to do that again once you save this template, okay? So let's say this is going to be for, we're going to click on the typewriter. Actually, I'll do it the way I told you all to. Instead of client, we'll put John. Let's say it's John and Susan. Save that. Pull that over to fit Mrs. Susan's name. Perfect. John and Susan Smith. Very generic name, I know. So we've got that in there. If you wanted to change out the pictures here, you could by clicking on it and then going to images. And then on the images section, you can go up to company and see different lifestyle photos. So let's say I didn't love that photo, but I do love this one. This is what I was trying to show you earlier. By clicking on this picture, so see, let me back up. When you hover over the library of photos, you see how there's only a plus sign of use image here. If you click on an existing picture on a template first and then hover, a little replace button, it looks like a refresh button on a browser, pops up. So let's say I wanted to add this photo actually instead. Well, got a little bit more greenery. I can click replace and it'll just drop it in there immediately and size it up how you want it. So that's a cool little tip as well. Click where you want and then you can replace from there. So we've got that picture in there. Let's say I did not want that in here, but I do want my team logo. And sometimes it doesn't want to drop it in the box. That's okay. I just deleted that. I can resize my team logo. And then for your DBA, we'll get that as well. So for me, I'm going up to images because again, my logo thing is a little messed up right now. I can't figure out how to do that just yet. So I just want to let y'all know about that again.
Clark, I'm not sure. I'm not seeing as many images as you are. Did you add something in the company tab? It's Sarah.
Hey, Sarah. No, I did not. I just clicked on company and then I think we all do, or at least to my knowledge, we do have these 5 app images: lifestyle at home, lifestyle activities, neighborhoods, and house types. If you don't have those, I'm not sure, and we can connect later. I would just make sure that you're using Chrome. Maybe try opening it in a different browser or restarting your computer first.
I have Chrome and I'm just seeing one image in each of those house types, lifestyle. Okay, we'll connect later. Thanks.
Okay, yep, sounds good for sure. So I'm going to select this and I'm going to pull over my image real quick, which is going to be your office logo. I'm just going to pull this over here. Nope, I did not want it there. You'll see it thought I wanted to drop it here in that little box. There we go. So we'll delete this little placeholder DBA and we'll grab yours, resize that bad boy. All right, and then also here, we're going to want to make sure we click right here. It says KW Market Center, 123 Lauren Lane in Washington. Well, that's clearly not your office address, so we're going to want to grab that as well. And I would change that after realty. I would take out the word Market Center and put in Central 75 for y'all. Okay, and then we'll want to put in your office address as well. And that'll be in Richardson. Okay, what you always want to make sure you do, hit save changes when you type in any text, okay? If you don't, it will not be nice and not play with you the way you want. Okay, let's see. Back on this typewriter real quick, just a personal preference. I'm going to take out this little vertical line that was right here. And the reasoning for that is for my sizing right here, I want to make sure I'm pulling this over. If y'all see here, keep zooming in so you can see. Up to 200. So see right here, the office number 125 is not on the same line. That's why I'm zooming in here to show y'all. So I'm going to pull this text box over just a little bit and bam, there we go. Everything's on the same line how I like it. For your photos and everything, you'll want to put in your name, of course, your photo, all your info. And that's obviously a little too far on the spacing, so we'll just use the arrow keys, pull that back over. In your marketing profile and your settings on command, that's where you can find your little short code to download your mobile app, okay? So you can find that in your settings in the marketing profile setup. And then here, my website, I'm gonna put my team website actually, instead of my personal one, because we do have a team.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Sorry, y'all, hit my Siri button on accident. All right. And you want to put in your info, of course, as well. And so I just know off of. Okay, cute. I know that that is my short code. I've just memorized that on a personal level. So you can find that in your settings though, if you're not sure where that is, or in your consumer mobile app as well. When you share it, you can see it there as well. And let's zoom in real quick. I want to make sure that we're up close to change that photo as well. So back on images, just going to replace that. So I've selected that photo already. I can just hit the replace button like I showed you earlier. Bam, easy peasy. Okay. That's about the most editing we're going to do on a single page, just so y'all know for your own knowledge as you're watching this video or in this class. We're not going to be doing this on every single page, okay? So I'm happy and good with all of that. Page 2, we can go and move on now into the table of contents. Nothing to edit here, okay? There's going to be a lot of these pages where there's nothing that you have to edit. There's plenty that you could. If you pulled up this sound decision page, this next page here, and you read through this and you didn't like some of the text, you can certainly click on it, go up to the typewriter and type in whatever you want. These are just templates. These are just something that KWRI put together for us to have something to go off of, okay? So I'm just gonna keep clicking through this and adding the pages as I see them, okay? Nothing we need to add or change here. My app, this is a page that you are going to need to add something on. Let's see, actually, I think it'll be on the next page here. So yes, on this one right here, so the My App page says finding your home has never been simpler. One thing you will want to do is at the very bottom of this page, if you click down there, you can see that it's got your little short code placeholder. So I'm going to zoom into 500. I'm going to zoom in a really, really big amount so that I can see this properly. And I'll click that typewriter, and instead of the X's, just putting in my own short code. That is not yours. That is just what mine is. And I can zoom back out to about 75. Okay, everything's saved. We're good to go. Can keep on moving. Any questions so far, y'all? I know this is pretty explanatory and you're just going to have to do it yourself as well. But feel free to ask any questions if y'all do have any now. And right here, you don't have to do anything. This is just for the quote unquote preference profile for the client. This is questions that you're going to be asking them. You're going to have a great understanding of your client's needs after this because of all the questions that they've put in here. If you go solely just based off of this and change things here and there, but use the bones of what they've created in this template, you're going to have a great understanding of your client's needs and how they operate and like to be communicated with and all that. So they could put in here, you know, they can circle or check as you're walking through the presentation. You know, I can email in the morning, I can call in the afternoon, whatever they put in there. Keep going forward for the home wish list. Okay, so nothing there. A couple more wish list pages in here. Okay. So this is just 4 pages right here, y'all, of questions that we just went through that you're going to be asking your client about what they're envisioning themselves, or what kind of home they're envisioning themselves in, rather. So like I said, you're going to have a great understanding. And if you don't like some of these living room questions, just click the typewriter, go in, change whatever you need to, okay? Like I said, this is just some placeholder for y'all. Move on to neighborhood preference because we're good here on the home wish list. Okay, so you'll notice on this one, neighborhood preference, we're going to need to add in our short code right there for our app. So you don't have to zoom in every time, I just recommend it, but I'm just going to click and then click the typewriter. Hit save, cool, I can see it's in there, great. And let's see, I think there was one more thing. No, we're good to go. Let's read that little paragraph. I know there's something coming up here that we will need to edit as well over on that side of the page. So getting to know the neighborhood, you can see at the very bottom in bold, your website URL. That's sending them to whether it's a KW landing or a KW created agent website or not, just put in your website URL here. Because what this little sentence is saying, I can zoom out a little more for you. Always remember that you can search, save, and organize your favorites on my site. So with that term, unless you have the ability to do that on a non-KW website, you would need to change up that phrasing if you're not using a KW website or landing page or anything for this, okay? So make sure you're representing your website correctly wherever your website is created through. So on this one, we'll just do it for the mundygroup.com. And for yours, if it was something different, you know, one of the agent created ones, my agent created one is clarkmundy.kw.com. So that would be the format that yours would look like, name or whatever you chose for your domain name, .kw.com, okay? We'll zoom back out. That was the only thing we needed to add in here. We'll go on to mapping your move. Okay. Now this one is a little finicky, okay? We're gonna spend a little bit of time on this page for a moment, okay? Neighborhood insights. So one thing here, there is an easiest way and there is a kind of more difficult way about doing this. We're gonna talk about both, okay? So we'll zoom in on this page a little bit so y'all can see some more. So this is about neighborhood insights. So, you know, obviously if you've maybe had some conversations with this buyer already that you're meeting and sitting down with, you have an idea of some neighborhoods or areas that you could at least, you could cherry pick the neighborhoods for this certain page, okay? So what we're gonna be doing here in this one is, well, we're not looking at Barton Hills or Hyde Park. Those are both in Austin, okay? You can see these are little radius snaps of those areas. This little image changes when you update the location, okay? So we're gonna click on that and we're gonna go to images, okay? So once I clicked on that, once I click on this, you'll see images pop up here in between templates and text. That's how I got there. Images pops up. We can go back to company or add. Let's see. Trying to remember here. Oh, I'm sorry, it's KWLS, I apologize. We're not doing an image, we're doing KWLS, okay? Not images. And once we select KWLS, we can go to snapshots, and that's what we're gonna be pulling in here, y'all, okay? So let's say you don't even know, say your buyer's in Richardson or Southlake or wherever it is, and you don't know the exact neighborhoods or that they've, you know, maybe wanting to look at yet. Well, you can just type in Richardson, Texas, when you're searching by neighborhood name instead of zip code. And when you do that, it'll pull up from next door. That's how Kelly pulls in all of the snap data. It'll pull up all these different ones from next door and the data associated with them. Now, the only downside to pulling in neighborhood specific snapshots as opposed to a zip code snapshot is some of, and I don't know if it's half or less or more, so I don't want to give you like a hard number, but I've noticed some of the neighborhoods in here on these snaps don't have any data associated with them. So see, Richardson Heights does have some. That's great. Okay. And I may click on some of these. They may all have data, but I have, see this one right here, Estates of Richardson. It says NA on all of the data. Well, the kind of not great thing for you as the agent creating this is if the neighborhood you're looking at specifically or wanting to pull in here has no data, this specific one is not going to be a great thing to pull over. So you would probably just replace that image for Estates of Richardson, change the text to Estates of Richardson, and then you would have to come in yourself and find this listing data or these, these metrics about that neighborhood. Now, I tried on Kelly before this class to pull up to see if maybe it's just a lack of translation between Kelly and Command, and it's not. If it says NA here on Command, it's going to say the exact same thing on Kelly. So the workaround on that is either you have to look up all the data yourself, your own information, the information, and you type it in here yourself with text boxes. Or what you can do is just do zip codes. Zip codes are much broader. They have a lot more data on them. Or the last option here. So let's say we had chosen Richardson Heights. Okay, so I'm going to change this now to Richardson Heights for this one. I just wanted to be able to make sure I took that time to show y'all. Okay, I'll pull that text box over so Richardson Heights is a little longer. And instead of estates of Richardson, what I'm actually going to recommend y'all do, because you see here on this really tall vertical one, it actually has active, pending, days on market, and average price per square foot, along with list price and sold price already pulled in there. It's got a lot of that same data that would be right here, right? So I'm going to recommend, instead of just replacing this top image, I'm going to recommend we just delete all of this as a whole and this, and then just pull in 2 or 3 of these, okay? Because you want the data to be in there. You want it to look correct. So I'm just going to hit the plus sign. And then what I'm going to do is delete this, and delete that, and these boxes right here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and start resizing this. And I just want it to overlay on top of kind of that same little area, so you can use the other side for reference, this one right here, for sizing reference, just as you're making it larger, okay? And then I'd say I'm happy with that there. Let's see, let's pull in 2 more so that y'all can see. Let's see, does Yale Park have any data? Yale Park has some data, great, we're gonna use that as well. Pull that text box over to get everything on the same line. And then we're gonna delete these as well. And now that I've already created one, I can just pull this other one over and then resize accordingly, just like we did with the first one. Nope, not that small. Okay, so, and you can see as you're dragging, let me zoom in here so y'all can see a little better. When you're zooming here and dragging these, you see that this one is much, we're gonna be using this one as the baseline for our sizing here. When you drag to a certain point and they actually line up, you'll see a blue-ish line. And sometimes on the top, sometimes you can see, okay, well, anyway, it's a little hard to see right now, but while you're editing, you will see a blue line if everything is kind of lined up correctly. So I'd say we're good on those 2. And then if you wanted to, you could come in here, you could add a 3rd one. I'm not going to do that just for sake of time, but you could delete this, find a 3rd neighborhood, and implement that data as well. And then you would also want to come in here into your notes, about these 3 neighborhoods, write in specific notes so that the consumer understands why you picked these 2, why you wanted to mention them. Maybe you just did it based on your conversation before the appointment. But you can see here, average days on market, that is NA right there. This may not be the best one because you cannot come in here and edit any of this, okay? Now, I guess technically what you could do is add a white text box over that, figure out this font, and then add a text box over the white rectangle to put in a number there if you did find that. So you could still use this website for that, or this website, this snap rather, for that. You would just need to kind of come in and do that on your own. So anyway, that's how we do the neighborhood insights page, okay? I know that was a little cumbersome. And then also you'll notice, I forgot to mention here at the very bottom of this page on the neighborhood insights, at the bottom right, clicking on the typewriter in this text, well, it doesn't have my app in there anymore, but visit app.kw.com, and then you're going to want to add in the typewriter, okay, it's / so I'm not sure why I didn't have it already on there. Okay, it's just being difficult. Well, anyway, that's something y'all can play with as well. Okay, you're gonna wanna make sure that that is added in there before you're printing this off and sitting in front of a potential client. All right, y'all, so now we can click back on templates up here on the top left. We've done the neighborhood insights one, and you know now how to add in these cool vertical ones that have all the data in them, so you don't have to do text boxes or anything like that. Now we'll move on to how home buying works for a few pages. Okay, so nothing in here that you have to edit by any means, but I definitely recommend reading through all of it, like I said, before you're sitting down with a client. Okay, right here, the second page of this, of the how home buying works, I want y'all to see on this second little red box down here. We're gonna zoom in so that y'all can see what I'm talking about. When you zoom in here, it says, stay in touch with your agent. Well, we are the agent. This is supposed to be a, personal thing. That sounds very fake and not tailored to the client. So I would just change that to stay in touch with me for current or future recommendations about your home. So we can hit that. And then I might also double click here, highlight that, just so that they see it. And I'm gonna click that bold as well, just so it pops out a little bit more, just so that they do see that. And then use the guide feature in my app to find a step-by-step on-demand info about your purchase. Perfect. So I think we're good on that page. You're just gonna wanna make sure you change that to stay in touch with me. Or Clark, say you're on a team or have a team and maybe you need to have these templates set up for the team agent or just having it for me, however you'd like to do that. We'll go on to financing your future home, the next page. Okay, so these are some kind of do's and don'ts about financing, different things like that. Okay. Move on to home loans made simple. There's going to be something we're going to definitely want to delete in here. So this is going to kind of get into Keller Mortgage and start that conversation on the next page as well about Keller Mortgage. One thing I want to make sure though, y'all see this yellow thing at the bottom. It says Keller Mortgage operates in 49 states, not currently available in New York. Well, that is kind of redundant. That's good to have in there for everyone in New York and everyone else in the US to know that New York is the only one that we're currently not working in with Keller Mortgage. But the reason I really want to bring it up is this is kind of redundant to have in here if you're in anywhere. If you live in New York, you're not using it. And if you don't live in New York, this doesn't, like, the consumer's not going to care that it's not available in New York. They're buying in Texas or they're buying in Oregon or any of the other states that have this. So I would just delete this. It's kind of useless just to have in there. Okay. So you want to make sure you delete those two things. That's the only things that you definitely should delete on here. Okay. This next page, we'll need to add in some more things regarding to my profile or your agent profile. Now this is going to be customized to you, this page. So remember how it said, when numbers come into play, don't just leave it blank. Don't leave it as 15 years in the business if you're in your third year, okay? Add these numbers and, be truthful. Put in the correct numbers here. And maybe if you're so new and green that is actually more of a, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but maybe you just don't have the credibility numerically yet that you feel that you should have to be able to put this on a print thing, then go ahead and delete this. That's not a problem at all. You can add in something else. Or like it mentioned at the beginning on that instructions page that we deleted, page 2 of the template, it said, if you don't feel comfortable using your own numbers, use KWRI's numbers as the whole company, find out market center numbers. You can really lean on different statistics to still have these in here as value adds and to show the client that you do know what you're doing and you've got the backing that if you don't know the answer, you will find out someone who does and get right back to them. So I wouldn't recommend deleting these numbers or deleting the numbers as a whole rather, but just be smart about what you're using. So I'm not going to go through this because it just is going to take up more time and we've already done it several other times already. So you would just want to come in here, your photo, your name, CEO and founder of Your Name Properties, edit all that. Your credentials, if you want to include any education, if you've been a board member of anything, whatever you want to put in here, feel free to do that. Win-win or no deal, all these different things. This is our WI4C2Ts down here, part of our KW mantra for our culture here at Keller Williams. So I just wanted to make sure y'all saw that you're going to want to edit those things on here. We'll go back up to templates and keep on rolling. On the My Competitive Advantage here, the next page, it's going to be the same deal, okay? You're going to want to put in here, so for your numbers down here, all this info up here is nothing in here as of today that you need to customize, but I'm going to zoom in. I selected this box to zoom in specifically on it. And so higher than average from market to closing, days to find a dream home. So if you don't have these numbers or don't know them, if you don't know them, try to figure them out based on your previous deals, if you have that ability to, and at least get somewhat of a range, you know, of what these numbers are to you. But if you are brand new, or you just have never tracked these things, or if even tracking it is confusing to you, if you're confused about tracking your goals, I highly recommend you go into the Reports tab on Command, the little applet. Looks like 3 bars on like a graph. Click on that and set your goals in there first, because that'll really tell you a good breakdown based on your financial goals and things like that, your conversion rates and what you need to be doing. So that may help you with these numbers. If you have not set up your goals in the Reports tab yet, you may have a better idea of that if you do that. Okay. So you'll want to make sure you edit in all your numbers here as well in your competitive advantage. Your trusted partner, I think this one you're good on, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, all good here. Now this next one, if you have client reviews, you cannot just come in here, zoom in and type in your name and then act like a client said this about you, okay? I can't just put in Clark and then say, sold my condo in 12 days, Lonnie. Lonnie is not my client. This is not a real person. So if you have reviews, just pick your favorite 3 from Google, Facebook, whatever ones that rave about you the most, that, you know, maybe the best client experiences that you've had. Come in here and write these in, okay? And if you don't have any reviews, if you are a brand new agent, or maybe you're experienced and you just don't have reviews, that's not been something that's been a central part of your business. If you don't like this page, you're like, crap, I do not want to use this, and doesn't make me feel good looking at it because I don't have any reviews. Great. Come in here, back to pages. So again, on the bottom left, while we're editing here, kind of near this red, looks like a magnet looking thing, the U. Click on pages, and then we could hover over this last page with the reviews, click the drop down, and click the trash can if we didn't want to use it, okay? I'll leave it in there for all intents and purposes. So you'll want to make sure you add those or edit those things in there rather, or just delete the page as a whole if you're not going to use it. Promise to you, I think this one is good to go. Yep. Promise to the community. It talks about Red Day, enriching the community, community service, things like that. The bottom line, okay, I want to mention something here real quick. I'm not going to show you all how to do it, but I'll show you how to find the answer. So here on the bottom line, this, you don't really need to edit, you don't need to edit anything in here rather, but if you don't have a digital signature like this and you don't want to create one, great, just click on it and delete it. If you don't want to use it at all, just be done. But if you might want to use it, I just hit undo twice. Oh, let's see, let me redo that, get that page back on there. If you do want to do your own signature and you just don't know how to do it, literally just Google how to create your own electronic signature. And you can scroll down, and this Denise Robinson and Lisa Doe, you can create a signature in Microsoft Word and download it. So these are like a 4 and a 15-minute video. So y'all can watch those later on your own time and go through that. This one is from just last year, so that may be the best one to watch. Lisa Doe's 15-minute tutorial on creating an e-signature in Word. So if you do want to add that, I think it's a cool little touch. I think it does look good. So let me back up here and I'll pull the page in again to show y'all. I think it looks clean and nice. And even if you don't want to do a signature like that, you just want to have your name written in print or instead of cursive, but in plain text, you could do that as well in a fun font, whatever you want to do. These next couple 2 pages here are awesome, by the way, especially for first-time home buyers, the commonly used terms. These are really cool because it just breaks down all the questions that they may feel dumb asking you in terms of terminology, because we as agents, we intend to educate them on every single thing, but there's a lot of things we have to remember to educate them on, especially if they've never gone through the process or if it's been a long time. So all these different, breakdowns of these commonly used terms are really cool and effective, I think, just for the client communication. Here is our final page right here, this black page. That's how you'll know you're at the end on the classic version. Okay, so here's how you get in touch with me. Okay, so again, y'all, on this last page, you need to come in here and edit everything. Okay, so you'll put in your Richardson address for central, office, cell, and fax, if applicable, website, app, email, DBA, the same. You could literally just copy and paste. Once you write it in here in typewriter, you could just copy that and pull it up here on this typewriter, highlight all that and paste it. So you don't have to type it in twice. If you've got a team logo, add that in there as well. Okay. So that last page, you're going to have a good amount of editing to do on. And then if you include anything about Keller Mortgage in here, y'all, this is this last part that you have to include, the affiliated business arrangement disclosure. Again, this is just letting them know we have a symbiotic relationship with Keller Mortgage being Keller Williams agents, okay? And again, in yellow at the top, note this page must be included should you choose to include the Keller Mortgage page. And you're going to need to write in here, or actually we would just need to add a text box if you're just doing this easily on the computer. So we can go over here to the left, we can type in text, add, and we'll just do a body text. That'll pop up right here, you see in the middle of the page. Pull that over, and then I'll just select it, go to the typewriter, and remember Miss John and Susan. For John and Susan Smith. Okay, let's pull that a little longer. Their names are pretty big for that box, so I'm going to resize that down to about 20. Yep, that's good. Pull that over to John and Susan Smith. And then actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you all a quick little trick here. Now that we've already dropped a text box and I like that sizing, I'm going to click on that. And then up here, we have a duplicate function. So you can see I just clicked on the text box, and then on the top right, there's this middle one next to the trash can. It says duplicate. I'm going to click that. And now I can just pull that down, and then I can select the typewriter and put in my info because it's from me, the agent. And then I also want to duplicate it one more time to put in the date as well. Bam. Typewriter. And today is the 21st. Also make sure for this year, y'all are typing in the full year of 2020, because if you type in just a 20, people can backdate checks and add in, make it like it was 2019 or change the year. So just a little pro tip, make sure you are typing in the full 4-digit 2020 during this year. Okay, so we'll add that right there. Perfect. Let me zoom out, see if there is anything else on the disclosure page. Let's see. Oh, and by the way, yes, there's one more thing I forgot to mention. In that first paragraph right here, under the name info and date, it says this is to give you notice that placeholder with Keller or with which your agent is affiliated. So let me select that, click on typewriter. So you're just going to want to type in your name right there. Okay. And then you would just have your 2 signatures right here once you finish up your appointment. Okay. And then once we are good to go, so say we have typed in everything we needed to include that business disclosure, we're good to go. We can click on pages down here on the bottom left. Let's see how many that we've created. Our total amount here is going to be 31 pages for today. Well, and actually that is 31 because I see here there's a blank page. So this is always good to double check and look through. So see, there's a blank page there we don't need. Let's delete that guy. And then let's look through and make sure there's no other pages that are blank, because we should have at least one less page than 31 because we did delete page 2, the instruction page. And it would be less than that, of course, if you didn't include any Keller Mortgage info. You would not need this page. You would not need the Keller Mortgage page as well. So you might be under 30 for sure, is possible. And it'd still be a complete buyer presentation. So that is all the creation side of things. Now, one thing you're going to want to make sure that you do before you finish this, and I always recommend also saving, maybe doing a couple pages, making this design name buyer presentation. I'm naming this 2.0 because I made one yesterday just to make sure the test would still work. So you've created your name. I recommend always hitting done and just saving the thing first before, because I would hate for y'all to do all this work. And then if your Wi-Fi went out, computer crashed, whatever, for you to lose all of that, because this does not save all the things you do unless you hit done and leave. So I kind of took a chance doing all of it at one time, but regardless, I'm happy with everything in here. So I can hit, also I want to show y'all, I'll hit done first. We'll hit save. And then I'm going to show you what you need to do. So again, you can do this digitally by just downloading it. And then the next step is to do it. So here's our buyer presentation 2.0, just clicked on it. And so see, everything in here looks great. So now up at the top of the screen, now that we've saved it, we know it's good to go, we can click the download button. And when we do that, if you're printing this, and in general, even if you're not printing this and you're just using it digitally, I highly recommend you do get PDF and do high resolution print quality, and all designs is what I would do. You could do a download range if for some reason you didn't want to use all of them, but I would just leave it as all designs. If you only do current design, see that is just page 1. That's the page in the background here. So you'll want to make sure you're on all designs, okay? And then you would just click start download. We'll see a big yellow bar down here at the bottom for my browser because I picked yellow for the color. So we'll get that. It says preparing right here. So you know that it is working. Just hasn't been able to download it just yet. And then I'll go ahead and show you all what it looks like on the PDF side of things as well once it is downloaded to your desktop, assuming that just takes a moment here. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen though for a moment. Do we have any questions right now, y'all? I know, like I said, a lot of this was really just me showing you so that you can then implement this yourself, but I wanted to show you how easy it really is. So do we have any questions based on everything today? I know it was pretty easy to follow along, but I do want to ask. Y'all are just rock stars then. We love that. So let me see if I got this downloaded or not. Nope, it decided not to download. So sometime, oh, it still says preparing. So it's just taking its time today on the download. But basically, you just download it to your wherever on your computer hard drive. And then that PDF file is what you can email out to clients and do anything like that on the digital side of things. For if you had a Zoom, buyer consultation, you could email that over to them so that you could both be looking at it, each page together. So maybe you have a Zoom on half your screen where you're both seeing each other, and the other half of your screen is the PDF of your presentation. So you and the client can click on the arrow keys or click through and go page by page together. So you can still do this virtually. Okay, it just started downloading on my end. It's going to take about 20 seconds here. So I'll show y'all here in just a moment what it looks like to see the full deal. And we're also, or we being me, I'm going to be showing y'all how to do a listing presentation next week. So same concept, just doing the same thing of the listing side of things. So let me enter full screen on this. And now I will share my screen again with you. And now I downloaded it, and here is my PDF of everything. So I'm going to zoom out here a little bit with my arrow key or my mouse trackpad or whatever, just so I can have a little better view of everything. But you can see in here, John and Susan Smith, it's got my info saved. It's got KW Central. It's got that team logo, correct address. So everything in here looks really high quality. You can zoom in here a lot. And the reason you want to do that print quality is because you see how zoomed in I am, and this is still insanely high quality. That's what you want, especially even if you're emailing this out. You want to be putting your best foot forward and presenting the highest quality, quite literally in resolution, highest quality products to your clients. So see, these reds are super vibrant whenever you do the print quality. See these reds, I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell they look different. These are much brighter than they were when we were looking on my computer screen. Okay, y'all? So anyway, I just wanted to make sure to show you all that and show that it does work. It does look all nice and pretty whenever you finish it up. So we only got a few more minutes here before 11 o'clock. Any questions y'all want to ask, or are we good to go? You can feel free to just give me a thumbs up and not even unmute if you're good to go. Jose says he's good. All right, y'all. Well, feel free to reach out to me if y'all have any questions. I'll be posting this on YouTube here later today, probably before Bold. So just keep an eye out for that. If you need to do, the walkthrough and just go through it with me later via YouTube, you can certainly do that. And feel free to let me know if y'all have any questions and if there's anything else I can be doing for y'all, okay? Hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, a good, happy weekend, a great Memorial Day on Monday. That'll be an awesome, fun holiday. Social distancing, keep that in mind, all that fun stuff, being outside, whatever you're doing with your family. But anyway, you'll have a great rest of your day, and I will see y'all next time, okay?